let's talk to Kirk. I think we have him now. Hey, Kirk, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. I'm just trying to stay dry, but I'm not being very successful out here. We're about an hour east of Washington, D.C.
So where exactly? I think you landed in Philadelphia. Tell us the trip from Philly down to where you are now. It has been nothing but rain. I would assume rain and wind.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, guys, is this storm just hasn't let up. It's been relentless since we landed in Philly yesterday afternoon at about 6 o'clock. We were one of the last flights to get in. I looked at the board as I walked off the plane, and, I mean, just about every flight was already canceled, and we were hearing that the rest of them were being canceled. The Philadelphia airport effectively shut down today, as are a lot of airports across the East Coast. And so we spent 2 hours driving down to the area where we are, Kent Island, Maryland, and it was just rainy. So it wasn't too bad. I mean, comparable to a mild to somewhat extreme monsoon storm, but not that bad. We got blown around a bit. But throughout the day today, it has just systematically gotten worse by the hour. And right now, we're kind of feeling some of the strongest winds that we've felt so far. And not a big surprise because that storm is finally making its way on shore right now.
So since, you're a TV guy, you're out there with the camera crew, what does it feel like and look like to be out in the middle of a hurricane? Because I watch you do it, and I'm glad I'm not doing it.
You make a good point, though. I mean, it's one thing to go out and walk outside and feel the rain and walk back inside. And, we stand out there for hours on end doing live reports just to let people know what's going on and hopefully warn some people and tell the people back east about the story that's happening out here out west, Tell people back out west what's happening out here out east. So it's miserable. It is wet. It is windy. It's miserable, but, it's one of those things where someone's got to at least be the window to the world, and it's fun to be that guy.
So what are the winds sustained now? Because when you got down there, the winds weren't as rough or not blowing as hard. What are the winds like now, and how much rain has fallen?
Well, we were up this morning bright and early at about 5 o'clock, and we were seeing 10 to 15 mile per hour winds, and now that has increased to 20 to 30 mile per hour winds, some gusts above and beyond that. Frankly, my wind gauge that I was using to measure wind broke. It just took on too much water, and it's no longer working. So, unfortunately, at this point, we're watching a lot of the weather reports to find out what the winds are out here. But I can tell you, we're feeling them, and the rain. They're expecting possibly up to 10 inches in this area. So far, we've heard reports between 3 and 6 inches. It's the storm surge on top of the rain that they're so worried about. Right. Hopefully, because of the area we're located at is actually in a bay. Hopefully they're a little bit sheltered from that. That's what people here think. But, until the storm comes, until the storm is here, and until that storm surge comes, nobody really knows what's going to happen. So we're all kind of watching and waiting. Most people hunkered down in their homes here on Kent Island, waiting for this storm to come in.
ABC 15's Kirk Yuhnke is joining us, Mac and Gatos, talking about the storm. I'm sure you've spoken to some people down there. Did they tell them to evacuate, and did some of them say no? What are you getting? Obviously, you're on the ground there. What are people saying?
Well, it was a suggested evacuation, was not a mandatory evacuation here in the Kent Island area. So it's all extremes, guys. I mean, we've got people who pulled their boats out of the water, put their boats on stilts, and took off. We've also got people out here who live in their boats and are staying in their boats right now. Living there. You're right, and that was my first reaction. But, out here in the Bay, I mean, it's very common for people to live on a boat, and frankly, it's their home. And so some of them rode out Isabel about 9 years ago, and they say, we did Isabel, it was fine. We think we can ride this one out, too. So they're kind of taking their chances. A lot of them have backup plans in place just in case, a hotel to go to or a friend's house to go to if it does get that bad. So you've got two extremes. You've got people who are on edge and getting out of town, and you've got other people who say, no big deal, we're just going to hang out and kind of stay here and watch the storm.
Now, Gatos and I were talking earlier before the storm actually made landfall that this has been in the news for a number of days, and you've seen a number of people walking through water, and it has been. This just made landfall this hour. How long are you going to be there? Because from what we understand, this could actually be another 4 to 5 day event.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, at this point, we're thinking it actually depends. I mean, we'll stay here as long as we need to cover the story, and we're committed to doing that as part of ABC 15, as part of the Scripps group of television stations that we work for. Right now, we're thinking that maybe Thursday might be our day to head back, but obviously, if things take a turn,
I don't know if you'll be able to get a plane out Thursday. I mean, Thursday to me sounds very optimistic.
Does it ever become too dangerous for you and they pull you out?
Absolutely. Oh, I mean, even today, I mean, we started doing live shots out by the dock, and we've had to relocate.
Right.
Not necessarily because it's too dangerous for me, but more so because we've got a lot of equipment. We've got that giant television truck, and that thing just gets tossed around in the wind. And so that we had to move underneath a bridge. We now have the satellite truck underneath the bridge, and we're in a place that's safe for our engineers out here that are operating the truck and operating all the equipment. So, yeah, it gets to a point where it's dangerous. I mean, obviously, if I'm in danger, if our crew's in danger, we're going to take off. We're going to leave. I mean, right now, we don't feel like we're anywhere near that because, again, we're in the bay. We're not right there on the ocean. That is seeing the brute force of 90-mile-per-hour winds. I mean, that's just crazy. I mean, we're seeing, again, 20 to 30-mile-per-hour winds, gusts above that here. I can't even imagine what 90 miles per hour it feels like.
Kirk, we may call you tomorrow, so have your phone by, because this story is going to get worse and worse and worse.
Have you had any crab cakes yet? You had any crab cakes yet?
I don't eat seafood, and I'm in the wrong place, apparently.
Yep,
but
you
what? You guys have my number. Feel free to call me, and I'll be more than happy to keep you guys updated on what's going on out here.
All right, thanks, Kirk. We appreciate it.
Stay safe. Very bad storm.
That is Kirk Yuhnke from ABC 15 right here in the Valley. I don't know. He must have drawn the short straw or ticked somebody off to get this gig.
No, you know what the thing is? They all want it. I don't get it either. Some of these guys want to be there.
Phoenix. I don't care. We don't get these kinds of things, but
I know.
God bless him for doing it. He's in the middle of the Chesapeake Bay in Maryland on Kent Island riding out this hurricane, and he's not a seafood lover. I am